A lot of my content is quite simple. All I'm doing is thinking, right, what's led to me having a setback in the past, and what do I need to change to avoid that happening again? I've actually found creating this series on how to quit porn really useful for myself as well, because it's helping me become even more aware of my main triggers, what leads to cravings, the certain thought patterns and habits that I have. And that is really, really important on this journey. And my experience is going to be different to your experience. There will probably be quite a lot of similarities, but what I'd really recommend doing is starting to become more and more aware of your own journey and figuring out what's working for you and maybe what's not working for you, and just be really, really curious. That's the main thing here, because what you could do is just continually iterate and develop a process, a system that's going to sustainably work for you. Like, it's just going to be a system that you stick with. Once it's in place, job done. And you can always go back to that system no matter what. And that's what I've personally developed. So even if I do not stick to the system for a few days and that leads to a setback, then I still feel quite reassured and confident within myself, because it's like, well, if I just go back to what works for me, then I'm going to be totally fine. I'm going to be back on top in maybe a few days or even day one. You know, often I talk about not getting too attached to the streak, the no-fap streak, and just focusing on making progress in your life. And so stay curious on your journey. How do you do that? I would say start to ask yourself after every setback, what went wrong? And really dive into what led to it, what feelings came up, and consider how those feelings came up. What sort of thoughts were you having? And you may not know, because a lot of this is going on in the subconscious, but what you can do is start to get more and more curious. And instead of judging yourself, you replace that with a genuine observatory curiosity. I think that would be my recommendation. Judgment is almost like the opposite of curiosity, because judgment is like, you did this and you should be condemned for that. Whereas curiosity is, you did this, oh, let's figure out why. You know, and it's just a subtle shift. But when you go from being really judgmental and like hating on yourself, criticizing yourself for having a setback, and you shift from that sort of perspective and that approach to being like quite open and a bit more, well, curious. I know I keep saying that word, but when you do that, you know, it opens up like this whole world of discovery, and it's just such a better place to approach this journey from, because you're then free to make mistakes without feeling as rubbish, without feeling as much pain. And you can just do this and sort of keep on moving forward in the right direction. And eventually, and I promise you this is true because I've managed to do this myself, I promise you we'll get to a point where you actually feel really, really confident, and you know that what you're doing works. It works for you, and it feels really good. I also think just letting go of that judgment as a whole will speed up this process like 1,000 times. You know, I used to do all the things right. I used to do the meditation, the working out, the eating healthily, the socializing, the cold showers, the pursuit of a business. You know, I used to do all the things that self-development will teach you. But what it often won't teach you is how to be genuinely compassionate and genuinely curious, and to not actually judge yourself. Because when I didn't do all those great habits, I'd end up falling off entirely, because I'd be so hard on myself and feel absolutely terrible, and that would lead me to looking at sexual content. Whereas nowadays, if I fell off with any of those habits, I would just question how come, what led to me falling off of those habits. And often the answer is something really quite simple and very plausible. It'll be like, well, you know, I had a really, really bad day because maybe a family member called me up and had some bad news. Or maybe things got a little bit overwhelming at work because a lot of people started to give me tasks to do which I didn't anticipate. And so I ran out of time to maybe do one of the habits which I would have liked to have done because I prioritized something else. And that's just the way life is. You know, things come up, things get in the way, and we don't have to be perfect. But what we can do is approach this whole thing with a lot more curiosity, and it just makes it so much easier. And I want that for you as well. But thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope it has helped. Check out the links in the description if you would like any further support on your journey of great porn, and I'll see you in the next video.